It's become that special hour, so if we could find our way to our seats, please.
John Jacob, how are you? You on the team or you just I used to live here. That was the year though. I didn't even look at the other thing. I was like, you went, oh, John Megan, oh, okay, cool. I don't know who the other guys are. Yeah, the picture's too small to zoom in. Yeah, my hair was happening. Hey, I'm up here. Bring it. Well, I could sit here. Over there, yeah. This is not for us. The other side of Heidi or other side? That side of Heidi. Okay. Oh. Where you were sitting? I'm sitting up here. I just questions. I don't know. Okay, they are. So hey, I think they said we had table of yeah, we have two, but I don't know.
So I know it's it's probably a little bit of a shock to all of you that Coach McCulloch's the only one that doesn't follow instructions, right?
I don't see why not. I don't think anyone else is dip. Is that your wife?
That's my wife, yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the 36th annual Viking Hall of Fame. And we are so pleased to have the great attendance that we have tonight. It is awesome to see all the familiar faces, to many of us who are as old as I am, to recognize everybody that is in this room and the things that they have brought to this university, some in recent years, some in longer time ago, but it's great to have everybody here. And tonight we will celebrate the induction of 5 individuals in a team that will join 166 other individuals and 63 other teams in the history of Viking athletics. And it's indeed another great day to be a Viking. It is homecoming week. The Comets came last night and left last night not victorious. The culprits of sending them home on the losing side are all sitting in the back. And if we could have that 12-3 volleyball team that's receiving votes, please stand up and be recognized. 14-3, excuse me. Anybody that was at the field house last night, the energy in that building was really awesome. And we thank everybody that was there. If you haven't had a chance to get out and watch that volleyball team play, you need to do that. If you haven't had a chance to get out and watch the football team play, you'll have that opportunity tomorrow. And when we hosted the first game of the year, the Egg Bowl, it was extraordinary. And it was a great atmosphere, and we would anticipate, rain or shine, tomorrow it will be the same way. Couple things just before we get started. We'd really like to thank the Eagles and their crew for what they do. They put on an outstanding event here. Jenny and her staff that make the roast beef, it's phenomenal. So you're in for a treat that way. And the people that do the things behind the scenes, our sports information staff that will do everything that you see tonight. Mark Potts, Carrie Bodine, they are phenomenal at what they do. You guys are so lucky. Those of you that are going into the Hall of Fame, your sports information director when you were in school wasn't very good. These guys are awesome. And also then our video crew, Mitchell Silkman, excuse me. This will be on video on our website, so you'll be able to watch this in the future. And it's just going to be a great evening. So with that, I'd like to call to the stage 5 years ago when he became our president. I was not working at the university, and I kind of made a snarky remark about being from South Dakota and how it says, you know, toes going first on the back of his shoes and things like that. And I'm not going to say that anymore because I'm back at the university and I really like my job. So with that, I'm going to introduce Dr. Alan Lefebvre, the president of Valley City State University and the #1 Viking fan.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. He says he's not going to say that anymore, but he said it every year since he's been here. It's a real honor and pleasure for us to have Corey leading our foundation at this important time for our campus. And when we had the opportunity to hire a new director of the foundation, I was very hopeful Corey would accept the job. And we're very glad that he did. We're glad he's back. And there's no one that leads Cardinal Red more than Corey Anderson. So thanks for being here. So, I don't want to talk too much, but I just want to share, for those that don't keep up with the news, just a couple of really good things that have been happening on our campus, to our campus, and within our campus over the past number of years, but especially within this last week. We've had some really awesome news to report. The U.S. News and World Report is the leading external rating agency for colleges and universities. This year, Valley City State ranked the #2 institution, public institution in the entire Midwest. That includes 12 states. We were #2 in the Midwest. And the first in North Dakota. And, you know, when it comes to things that a president is concerned about, obviously the #1 thing is the health, well-being, and welfare of our students, their safety, and their success. But you've got to have students to keep them safe. This week, we reported the largest ever enrollment in the history of Valley City State with 1,754 students. Charlene and I used to play a little game where we put our best guess underneath of our computers. I've continued that tradition with our new director of enrollment. We were 2 apart in our numbers. I won't tell you what my number was, but we were both below where we ended up. And so we're extremely pleased with those results. The other thing I'd like to talk about is our capital campaign. We are in the final throes of our campaign, and I've shared with many, we're in the 4th quarter of the campaign, and there's not going to be an overtime. We've got to be successful with our campaign in order to create and develop the facilities for the student athletes of today and for tomorrow, for the recruits that we're going after, for what we're trying to build at Valley City State University. So if you have an interest in getting involved with that, Corey will be glad to speak with you at any time, and so would I. But we're really excited about where this is going to go and what it's going to do for VCSU. If you haven't been on campus in a while, you've probably seen there have been a lot of changes. And it's really remarkable to see that. As the president, my favorite part of my job are those students that are in the back. And walking across campus, going into the dining hall, seeing them between classes. I can't explain to you what an outstanding group of students we have. It's unbelievable. They are the kindest, most respectful, intelligent, just absolutely phenomenal students, and we are blessed to have them at VCSU. And you as alums can be proud that they are continuing your legacy of excellence as we move forward. We wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for all of the work that all of you did. So to all of the honorees this evening, congratulations. We're proud of you. We're glad you're back. To our coaches, to our staff, to our faculty, to our administration, and most importantly, to our students. Thanks for everything you do for VCSU. Go Vikings!
At this time, I'd like to call on Sadie Hansen to give our invocation. Tonight, we're going to be putting in 2 phenomenal volleyball players. And it's great to have a team that's with us tonight. And Sadie, I'd like to tell you, if you haven't saw the news, is the reigning 2 weeks in a row is the conference setter of the week. And we're lucky enough to have her bless us tonight and come forward with the invocation. Sadie?
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for gathering together in your endless goodness. We thank you for bringing past and present athletes and families together in fellowship with one another. We ask that you bless this meal before us tonight. So whatever you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do everything for the glory of God. We ask you to be with us for the rest of our days and continue to guide us through life. Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. But keep me humble and remind me that my strength comes from knowing you. At the end of this game, I will turn their eyes to you, O Lord, and to the glory of your name. May the God who gives endurance and encouragement give you the same attitude of mind toward each other that Christ Jesus had. Amen.
As she does on game week, she set us up perfectly for this meal. So with that, enjoy your salads, and you will be served shortly. Welcome back, everyone. We'll take about a minute here to get back to our seats.
You're gonna be at the game tomorrow, Joe? Okay. I'm gonna find you at the game. I'll be around. Over there? No way.
Yeah, I only have all A's in the seat. What's his history?
As we get started here, how about another hand for the Eagles staff, Jenny and her crew. Thank you very much. As we get started in our program, I'd like to recognize some previous individual Hall of Famers who are with us tonight. I would like to ask them to please stand when I say their name. I'd like to have them remain standing, and let's hold our ovations for all of them till the end. From the class of '88, Dave Roush.
Hell yeah, Root.
From the class of 1995, quarterback Mark Smetana. From the class of 1998, Coach Jim Dew. From the class of 2005, Steve Olson. You guys will recognize our game manager right there, Steve Olson. From the class of 2017, Dave Bass. From the class of 2018, Jed Klein. And from the class of 2022, Josh Kosowski. Would you please give these individuals a round of applause? At this time also, I would like to recognize any members of a team inducted into a Hall of Fame. Would you please stand? Any members of a team that's been inducted, please stand and be recognized. And before we get started, a couple corrections. I like to be really perfect with things, and man, am I not. Our volleyball team, just to set the record straight, they are 14-3. 14-3. And my second inaccurate thing is that Sadie Hansen was not 2-time in a row. It was 3-time. And while we're on that, I should mention too that we also had a defender, a libero of the week too, that was 2 times in a row. We should have her stand and be recognized. JC Richter. JC? Tonight, the Hall of Fame committee is pleased to present Aaron Kramlich, Heidi, Larson, Backstrom, Megan, Floerke, Jacob, Travis Lester, Joe Maresh, and the 2005 Viking football team for induction into the Hall of Fame. Each of our individuals and team will begin with a narrated presentation with highlights from their time at VCSU. With that said, our first inductee, presented into the Hall of Fame by his fullback, Dr. Alan Burgad, is Aaron Kramlich.
Aaron Kramlich excelled as a dual sport athlete at Valley City State, competed in both football and baseball for the Vikings in the mid-1980s. Aaron made an impact on the football field and was an elusive big play running back who averaged more than 7 yards per carry over his Viking career. He sported an unbelievable athletic ability and tenacity when carrying the ball, and teammates and opponents alike were amazed by some of the runs he would make. Aaron had the ability to quickly shift his direction and gain additional yards on defensive players who thought they had the tackling angle. Aaron's best season came in 1987 when he scored 15 total touchdowns and averaged 103 all-purpose yards per game. He was named first-team All-Conference that season and the team's top offensive player. Throughout his Viking career, Aaron rushed for 1,203 yards and scored 23 total touchdowns. His career average of 7.2 yards per carry ranks second all-time in Viking history, and his 23 total touchdowns ranks him 8th. He was a team player who respected his teammates and coaches, and was someone who approached the game with a goal to win, but also recognized the importance of enjoying the moment. On the baseball field, Aaron had a career of .363 on-base percentage and was a key member of the 1987 team that won the conference tournament and district championship. Congratulations on your accomplishments, Aaron. Welcome to the Vikings Hall of Fame.
Unlike Aaron's picture in those days, we did have color film. With that, I would proudly present for induction into the Viking Hall of Fame, Mr. Aaron Kramlich.
Thank you, Corey. Thanks, Alan. Thanks to the Hall of Fame committee. It truly is an honor to be here tonight, standing up here, receiving this award. And congratulations to the other inductees, Joe and Travis and Heidi and Megan, football class of 2005. I have the distinct privilege tonight of making you guys feel a whole lot younger.
Yeah, you do.
I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for the talent that He gave me and the abilities that He gave me. Many times as a young athlete, you take those things for granted. And as I've gotten older and lost a step or two or 3 or 4 or 5, I learned to appreciate what I once had and what I still have today. And that includes faith and family, teammates, coaches, and friends. I want to thank my parents, Leroy and Joyce, who are here tonight. For their sacrifice that I could play sports. I have 4 kids that played sports, and I know the sacrifice it takes as a parent when you have kids playing sports. So thank you, Mom and Dad, and happy birthday, Mom. It was your birthday yesterday, so happy birthday. I would like to thank my older brother, Rick. He's not here tonight, but I want to thank him. He was 2 years older than me. And Rick pushed me and inspired me in ways that he can't even imagine, I'm sure, today. Rick was bigger than me, he was stronger than me, so I had to be faster than him. So thanks, Rick. Thank you to my high school coaches, Coach Sine, Coach Klusman, Coach Brovel, for the impact you guys had on my career and on my life. Many times we're visiting with classmates and stuff, and one of us will say something about the coaches, what they said, you know, even today. And so that's pretty cool. I want to thank my wife, Tammy. After my freshman year, we took a year off and got married. That'll be 40 years next year. So. After we got married, the next year I came back, and I remember sitting in Coach Dew's office and said, "Coach, I want to come back and play football." And he welcomed me back with open arms, and I thank him for that. But Tammy took 19 to 21 credits, and I took 12. Okay? She got a job at Pizza Hut and paid the bills. My senior year, she had graduated and went to Grand Forks and was teaching, just so I could keep playing football. And I want to thank her for that. I want to thank All-American Rod Skitlin. He was the back in front of me, for showing me how to practice day in and day out. He came and he practiced hard, and he didn't have to say much, but I watched how he practiced, and I learned how I had to practice. I want to thank the coaching staff, Coach Dew and your staff, for your patience with me and with the support you guys gave me. As a freshman coming in from a small town 9-man football, there was a lot I needed to learn. I needed to learn it and understand it fast if I wanted to play college football. And one of the things I needed to learn, guys, if you remember that depth chart that Coach Dew had in his office with everybody's name on it, on that pegboard and stuff. Well, one day in practice, we were doing the running back drills, and during one of the plays, I fell on the ball and got the wind knocked out of me. And it was one of those where you're gasping for air, and you can't get air in. And Coach Dew walks over to me and looks down at me and says, "You got the wind knocked out of you. You'll be okay." And he walked away and let me lay there. That day I learned about the depth chart and where I was on it. Coaches also taught me things to do or not to do. And that reminded me of a game in Jamestown against the Pumpkinheads. It was a JV game, and I was running and I got my leg wrapped up, and I was spinning around trying to gain a few more yards. And I looked back and I saw Darren Lowe standing there. And instinctively I tossed him the ball. I mean, Hall of Fame Darren Lowe, I pitched him the ball. He dropped it, okay? and didn't gain a yard. And he didn't understand that in Cullum, when I did that, I pitched the ball to my quarterback or my receivers, they got extra yards for me. And so I just instinctively did it. And so I get to the sideline and I'm told, "You will never do that again." And so I was glad the first time I reversed my field and it went from a sweep left to a sweep right, that I made it and I did well, because I think they would have said, "You will never do that again," if I didn't. There's a group of guys that I would like to thank. I don't remember most of their names, but one of them is sitting here, Hall of Famer Jed Klein. Okay, he was part of this group. I want to thank them. Their name was called the Binder Patrol. This group of linemen would walk around the locker room looking for freshmen to give a binder to. And I don't know if you want to explain this one, or should I, Jed? Now these guys, what they would do, I'm going to explain it, okay? These guys would get around the freshmen in the locker room after we were done practicing and grab them by the shorts, okay? By the waist, 4 of them around there, by the jock. Yeah, we still wore jocks back then, okay? And they would lift them up, all right? Now, that was just the beginning, because they used them like a yo-yo, down and up and down and up. Now, if he was lucky, he fell through his shorts on the first down and up. If not, they kept going. And now you're just wondering why I want to thank that group of guys, okay? I want to thank you because you never stopped at my locker. Jed, I think I was right next to you, okay? And you never stopped at my locker, and I've never told anybody this till now, okay? Because I figured I'm finally safe, because you can't bind your Hall of Famer. Can you? When Corey told me I was selected to be in the Hall of Fame, I was somewhat speechless. The Hall of Fame was never a goal of mine or even a thought of mine. I just wanted to play football. And now, almost 40 years later, when I watch that highlight film with my son and his teammates, I instantly go back to the game, to the plays. I remember how it felt. I remember what I was thinking on every play, even the runs, the plays I didn't run the ball. Like in Dickinson, when twice, Darren Lowe did not pitch me the ball in the option. And I know how to score. Coach, you know I would have scored too if he'd have pitched me the ball. And I was like, come on, Darren, now you want the ball? Okay? There's one game in Mayville, and Corey alluded to this a little bit ago, that I don't remember. Corey, honestly, I don't remember going to the game. I don't remember getting dressed and getting on the field. What had happened was I was on the kickoff, and I made the tackle, and I ran off the field and went and sat down by a pole. When it was my turn to get back on the field, no one could find me. They eventually found me sitting over there, but I had no recollection of anything. Someone had to lead me back to the locker room that night to get dressed, and then the guys started having a little fun with me, because I was a little fuzzy. They said, do you remember that you're married? Now I didn't. I did not remember that I was married. And that's the only recollection of that event that I have, is that I was trying to remember that I was married, and I couldn't remember that. And finally, I said, yeah, I think I'm married. And then they started laughing and said, you remember your kids? That really messed me up. Because I thought, if I had kids, I'd have remembered them. But anyway, they were just messing with me. But it's those kind of memories and many more that I'll always have with me. The years I spent playing at Valley City, I wouldn't trade them for anything. I came to camp with a group of strangers from all over the country. That group of strangers turned into a family, a brotherhood. And those of you that have played know what I'm talking about. When I see one of my brothers at a local ball game like Jim or Corey or Mark or Marty or Bruce or Tyler, man, Lance and Darwin, it's like family, guys. The bond never changes. It's always like seeing family, even if you haven't seen them for 20 or 30 years. And I know some of you guys can't relate to that 20 to 30 years, but you will, okay? Like seeing Steve Quinn and Paco down in Florida. It's like no time had passed. We're still family, we're still brothers. And that bond that was developed is stronger than ever. I want to thank those teammates of mine that are here tonight that showed up. I really appreciate it, guys, more than you'll ever know. I remember the first time when I was told that I would be starting. I thought, it's about time, coach. And if you know me, that's not what I said. I remember how nervous I was because I didn't want to let those guys down. But you know, a couple of them would come up to me and congratulate me and said that I'm going to do all right. And then a couple more came up and said that. And the confidence you guys had in me gave me the confidence to go out and play as hard as I possibly could. Guys, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. Love you guys.
Congratulations, Aaron. Our next inductee is Heidi Larson Backstrom. Presenting Heidi into the Hall of Fame is her coach, Craig Case.
Heidi Larson Backstrom will forever be remembered as one of the most dominant players in Viking volleyball history. Heidi was a special athlete from the start of her career, earning Dakota Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year award in 2005. To her credit, she continued to develop her game and improve throughout her VCSU career. Heidi became a 4-time All-Conference selection, and by the end of her senior season, she was one of the most talented all-around players to ever wear a Viking uniform. After recovering from a season-ending injury in 2008, Heidi's dominance was on full display in 2009 as she came back to be the best player in the conference, region, and perhaps the entire country. Her 2009 season featured 545 kills, finishing second in the nation in kills per set, and she was named the Dakota Athletic Conference Player of the Year, Northwest Region Player of the Year, and First Team All-American. Her 1,698 career kills ranks second in school history, and she currently ranks first with an average of 4.1 kills per set. When the Vikings needed a side out, they would always find a way to set Heidi. Heidi was a dominant and dynamic player who showed her dedication to her teammates through leading by example. She was dedicated to becoming the best player she could on and off the court. In doing so, she became an iconic student athlete for the university. Heidi's passion was for volleyball, but her athleticism and size made her a perfect two-sport athlete, as she also played key roles on the VCSU women's basketball team. In both volleyball and basketball, Heidi became known as a great teammate who made everyone around her better. Congratulations on all your accomplishments, Heidi, and welcome to the Vikings Hall of Fame.
Please welcome Heidi Larson Backstrom to the Viking Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
All right, here we go. All right, I just want to say thank you and congratulations to all the inductees tonight. It's such an honor to be inducted with each one of you. Thank you to the VCSU volleyball team for coming and showing your support as well. It's been fun to hear about you guys, and good luck with the rest of your season. Recently, I've had some people congratulate me on this accomplishment. I have not known what to say other than thank you. It feels like just yesterday that I was here at VCSU. But as I look at my family and I look around the room, I realize it has been a lifetime ago. What an honor it is to be here. I want to start by saying thank you to my parents, Nolan and June Larson, and the rest of my family. They've supported me through all of my life decisions. They encouraged me when they came to visit and supported me from afar. Thank you, Mom, for taking video at all the games you were able to attend. Now I have footage that I can look back on and be reminded of what I used to be able to do back in my prime. Thank you to my husband Jordan and my in-laws Philip and Carol Backstrom. I met Jordan and his family my junior year of college. They supported me even before they had a reason to support me. I'm glad I can call you mine now. Thank you to Kari Peterson and Jill DeVries. They were the head volleyball and basketball coaches in 2005. What are the chances that a videotape of me ended up in their hands of the new head coach at VCSU volleyball, Kari Peterson? Let's be real. I had no idea where Valley City was, and I barely knew anything about North Dakota. Who would have thought that 18 years later I would still be living here in North Dakota? My only requirement was to play both volleyball and basketball. Thank you, Jill, for respecting my choice to be a volleyball player first, but still including me as part of the basketball family. I learned a great deal from both Kari and Jill. Also, thank you to Kari for turning me into a right side slide power hitter. I'm pretty sure that doesn't even exist, but that's what I did. Thank you to Coach Case and the rest of the coaching staff over the years. Coach Case was very knowledgeable about the game of volleyball. He taught me how to analyze my every move as well as the moves of our opponents. He brought a fun sense of humor and coached each one of us according to our personalities. Coach Case believed in me and made sure I knew my potential as a volleyball player. He supported me even in the tough choices. Also, I know more quotes from the movie Talladega Nights than any other movie. Leave it to Coach Case to turn those quotes into motivational speeches. Jeremy was maybe a little too supportive in those inspirations. Shake and bake. Where's Jeremy? Shake and bake. Thank you to my teammates, both volleyball and basketball. My teammates pushed me to be a better player on the court and a better person off the court. My experience wouldn't be where I am today without all of my teammates. When I look back at my time in Valley City, I think about the huge support system, the staff, the students, the community. My church family took care of me and were there when I needed them. Families adopted me on the weekends, during the holidays, and even during my ACL recovery. This sense of community is what kept me in North Dakota for all these years. Now to my setter, Megan. Fun fact, Megan and I were the only two freshmen to survive preseason in 2005. What Megan didn't know is that her role would not only become my teammate, but would hold many other titles, which included friend, roommate, personal chauffeur. She still did that tonight. Chef, and the list goes on and on. Thankfully, she got a break during basketball season and she was able to pawn me off on the basketball girls. Megan was the best setter I have ever had the privilege to hit off of, and she knew exactly what I needed. I never knew that this would be the best volleyball I would ever play again. It is very fitting to start our career together at VCSU and finish here being inducted together in the Hall of Fame. Thank you, Megan. Last but not least, I give all my glory to God. The what ifs, the choices, the injuries, switching majors, relationships. I'm thankful for God's guidance through all the ups and downs and through each choice that was made. I'm living my dream of being a wife and a mother of 4 kids, and I wouldn't want it any other way. God knew what he was doing through it all. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. Thank you.
Congratulations, Heidi. Our next inductee this evening is Megan Floerke Jacob. I do want to mention that Megan's husband will be going in the 2005 Football Hall of Fame for the team in 2005, and to note that they are the 24th husband-wife. Surprising it's that many, isn't it? 24th combo to go into the Hall of Fame. With that, Megan Floerke Jacob.
Megan Floerke Jacob was an incredibly skilled setter and a ferociously intimidating server. Her natural talent, competitive drive, and dedication to her teammates made her one of the top setters in Viking volleyball history. Her VCSU legacy includes 4 all-conference selections and a school record 4,217 assists. She played with a competitive fire, a high volleyball IQ, and a commitment to winning, but not at the expense of her character. Megan garnered mutual respect from other setters and team leaders around the conference. She didn't have to yell or scream at teammates to get the most of them. Megan made everyone around her better, leading by example in the weight room and in Gratian Gymnasium. Megan was an all-conference selection each of her 4 seasons at VCSU and is the only Viking setter in history to top 4,000 career assists. Her 245 service aces rank 2nd in school history. Megan obviously had the stats to be a Viking Hall of Famer, but she also had the leadership. She was quick to pick up teammates if they needed it, and she made sure everyone felt part of the team, regardless of their role. Her combination of character and her talent are exactly what makes a Viking Hall of Famer. Congratulations, Megan, and welcome to the Vikings Hall of Fame.
With that, we would present Megan Floerke Jacob into the Viking Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone. I'll tell you, I'm more nervous now than I've ever been going on a volleyball court. That I could do. I wanted to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I know a lot of people came from a long way away, took the night off or the day off of work and drove a long way. So thank you so much. I appreciate it a ton. I'd like to congratulate the other inductees here tonight, Aaron, Heidi, Travis, and Joe in the 2005 Conference Championship football team. I truly am humbled to be a part of this elite group. Thank you to the Alumni Association and the Hall of Fame Selection Committee for this recognition. It's truly a great honor to be named as one of the inductees. Among those who traveled here tonight are my incredibly supportive parents. My dad, Bob Floerke, and my mom, Jana Floerke. Heidi, you started with this, and I was like, ooh, that was tough. So, sorry. But I started my junior Olympic volleyball career at 9 years old. And since then, all the way through my senior year at VCSU, my mom was always affectionately known by my teammates as Mama Floerke. She was always the loudest in the cheering section and would crochet with a needle and yarn during our games to keep herself from getting too stressed out. During all of the bleacher time that she put in, and during practice and games and tournaments, she made countless baby blankets. And she also was known for baking fresh cookies and to celebrate a big win, or throwing me and my teammates a lifesaver mint or candy if we had a tough loss. She was also quick to tell us to get over it. My dad was the one who drove me up from the Twin Cities for my official overnight visit here at VCSU. On the way home, we discussed all of the pros and cons. And by the time that we returned home, we were both really excited about all of the opportunities that awaited me here at VCSU. Saying thank you to my parents will never be enough to show them how grateful I am for all of the tournaments and practices, yearly fundraising, driving, bleacher butt, and most of all, the support that you've both given me. You were so encouraging, and that allowed me to follow my dreams of playing volleyball at the collegiate level. So thank you, Mom and Dad. I also want to thank my husband, John Jacob, which, as CA mentioned, is also being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. I am very honored to have that special honor with him. I know I only got to see you guys play 2 times that year. Heidi and I, we were traveling like crazy, and it only worked where we got to see you guys play twice. And I know that he is proud of his role as the defensive tackle and long snapper on that team. So I'm proud to share this honor with him, and it's extra special that we'll forever be a part of the same induction class. So thank you, John. So John and I met and started dating my freshman year. He was a junior, and my first interaction, or my first memory with John, was actually during preseason, and we were all in the CAF, and hopefully a lot of you will remember this memory, but we would be there for preseason meals, and the upperclassmen would they'd take turns running the mic, and John happened to be one of them, and he happened to have it a lot. Why did you give that to him? I don't understand. But they would release the different classes. So the senior guys, well, they let the volleyball team, there was 10 of us, and they let us eat first, thank goodness. Okay, so that was very nice of them. But then they would release the seniors, and then the juniors, and so on. And there was a time where there was a group of freshman football players that decided to sing. They had prepared a song, and if they prepared the song, if they sang the song to everyone, they earned the right to eat sooner. So before I knew it, Heidi and I, the 2 freshmen, as she mentioned, were brought up to the front of the CAF, and we were sat in chairs, and we had all these freshman football players kneeling on one knee, and they sang That Lovin' Feelin' from Top Gun. So whoever those guys were, I don't remember, but thank you so much, because, oh, we got some hands! Perfect! Well, thank you so much, because it was a memory, and it stuck, and now 18 years later, John and I have been married for 12 years, and we have an amazing 8-year-old son, Daxton, who's right here. He's celebrating with us both tonight. It's been really, really fun to have Daxton learn more about both of our collegiate careers, and who knows, maybe someday Dax will be a Viking, and maybe we can come and cheer him and his teammates on. So, Mac. Right here, okay. 8 years or so. Yep, perfect. I'd like to recognize and thank our coaches during that time at VCSU. Like Heidi said, we had Kari Peterson for our freshman year, and then we had Craig Case, who flew up from Texas, so thank you so much for being here, Case. So we had him the rest of our years here. So Kari, she recruited both Heidi and I from Minnesota, and just like Heidi, I didn't know where Valley City was. I knew nothing about North Dakota, and I unfortunately will admit that I thought Grand Forks and Fargo were flip-flopped. So when Kari told me that we were 45 minutes west of Fargo, I thought it was a lot further north than it was. So I was happy to see that the drive was a lot shorter than what I had anticipated. But I will never forget our freshman year, first practice, Heidi learned how to do that slide approach that you saw over and over and over again, where she goes up on one foot, smashes it down, okay? Well, she had never done that before. And so she'd always hit off at 2 feet, done a regular approach, and during our first practice, we said, you know, that's great, but we want you to try this. So she learned the footwork, took her less than a minute. We started feeding her live balls, and on the second or third one, it started looking pretty good. Fourth one, she smashes it down, and she goes, is that right? And we go, yeah, that looks pretty good. And then I think on the fifth one, I think it was Jackie Rohde, you smashed her in the face. And she was shagging balls. So she was not in the drill, it was not something that was planned, and she was standing on like the 10-foot line. So Heidi lands and goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And Jackie was a senior that year, and she looked at her and she goes, it's fine. She was pretty excited about that. One other story I wanted to share about Heidi quick. Heidi's really, really humble, so I wanted to take a minute to share one more story if I could. So when Heidi would go up and get a big kill, she'd hit it off the block, she'd shank it off of the defender, she'd hit it straight down, you name it. We saw it all. But she would land, she would give high fives, you saw her go boom, 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 boom. And then she'd kind of hit the reset button and kind of go right back to work, right? Okay, next play. But what was really exciting for me, and why I love Heidi so much, and why I loved being her setter, is that she was way more excited for her teammates than she was for herself. And so we would drop a play, and I would look at Heidi, and I'd give her sign of whatever she was gonna hit, and then I'd go like this, and she would go, And she knew that meant I wanted her to draw the block, which meant the middle hitter or the middle blocker on the other side was gonna go with her, and it was gonna leave someone else with a one-on-one. And so someone like Carissa Fallman on the outside would have one blocker instead of two. Carissa would hit it around it, get a nice big kill, and Heidi would go ballistic. She was way more excited for that than she was for her own kill. That might have been 3 times harder. So that was something that I thought was really cool, and it just made it super, super fun. So our sophomore year head coach, Craig Case, he took over, and Heidi and I were super excited to no longer be the only 2 in our class. So we had Carissa Fallman join us, and it was really fun to play with her over the years and graduate with her as well. And we had many great seasons and memories together. Countless, actually. So I learned a ton about myself as a player, leader, and teammate from Coach Case. He had a very unique coaching style. A timeout would be called, and the whole team would go to the bench and would sit with the assistant coach, which might be Jeremy Weeb or one of the other assistant coaches that we had. And then he would pull the setter to the side, and we'd have a one-on-one conversation. And everybody asked me about it. Why does he do that? That's weird. How come he just talks to you? Well, we would talk, and we would talk frankly. And we would say, this is what's going on, what do we need to do better, who's playing well, who's playing not well, what's going on with the defense, let's figure it out. And we draft a play, and we would take the second after the timeout to go and meet with the team. And then he would trust me to take our very frank conversation and translate it to what I thought my teammates needed to hear. So I thought like the trust that he had in me to do that was really cool. And it made, well, honestly, you guys, it was really scary that was his philosophy. Because there was a lot of pressure on the setter, and I didn't want to be singled out. But I also was really excited because I'm a really competitive person, and I really enjoyed that challenge. I ended up learning so much about the game of volleyball, and my volleyball IQ improved exponentially. So thank you so much, Coach Case. After my senior year, I actually got to coach alongside Coach Case and Jeremy Weeb. And I was the recruiting coordinator during Heidi's super senior year. Being on the sideline coaching during Heidi's final season was definitely not the plan. In a perfect world, we both would have loved to have finished our senior years healthy and together. But I am grateful that I had the opportunity to be by her side in the coaching role, because that was really cool. I coached for about 15 years, high school and JO, and I was able to utilize that volleyball IQ and pass it on to other athletes. And even though I've paused my coaching career, and for now, I'm already so proud of all the athletes and coaches that I've been honored, and I'm honored to see that many of them have started coaching and passing on that knowledge as well. So that's really cool. Lastly, I want to thank my teammates who pushed themselves and me to not only become better athletes and students, but also to become better humans. I was surrounded by teammates that grew up to be amazing women, professionals, wives, and mothers. My teammates were definitely my second family throughout those unforgettable years. The battles we fought together, the victories we celebrated, the challenges we overcame have forged a bond that cannot be broken. I will forever be grateful for the privilege of sharing the court with each and every one of you. So one of our teammates, Sabrina Haywood, became the first Canadian woman to climb the 6,000 meter peak in Nepal. And so, I mean, my teammates are literally climbing mountains and breaking barriers, and it doesn't surprise me one bit, because they're so amazing. I will forever be an ally and supporter of these amazing women. And I just want to thank everyone again one more time. Thank you so much for this honor, and have a great night.
Thank you, Logan. Congratulations. Our next inductee this evening is Travis Lester.
Travis Lester made his mark at VCSU as a dominant offensive lineman in the early 2000s. A native of Millbank, South Dakota, Travis earned 2 first-team All-Conference selections and 1 All-American honor. It is incredibly difficult to quantify statistics for an offensive lineman, but the great ones are easily identifiable. And for 4 years, Travis became great as a leader of the offensive line and our team. Originally recruited as a defensive lineman, Travis selflessly transitioned to the offensive side of the ball early in his career without complaint. He became a starter midway through his freshman season and never relinquished his spot. Over the next 4 years, he transformed our offensive line with his toughness and attitude. He set the tone for the offensive line group and made everyone around him better as our center. With young offensive line in 2005, Lester's leadership was a big reason we surprised everyone and won the conference. Travis, without question, put the offensive line and team before any of his personal needs and goals. He is the definition of loyalty and leading by example. Because of that loyalty, he played football ferociously for his teammates and coaches and became a true Viking Hall of Famer. Congratulations, Travis. Welcome to the Vikings Hall of Fame.
With that, we present Travis Lester for the Viking Hall of Fame.
Starting this off, I'd like to recognize Josh Kozlowski last year. He just about cried up here, so I don't feel nearly as bad if I end up doing it. So thanks for being a man, Kaz. Appreciate it. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee. Congrats to the other inductees. Very honored to be up here tonight with all of you. Also, coaches Mac, Anderson, Horner, Hill, Roop, teaching us what Viking pride is all about. Thanks, like everybody else that's been up here, thanks to my parents, my late grandparents, my brother, attending pretty much all my games throughout our trip from my hometown up here. So thank you for putting us in front of everything that you guys had going on. Thanks to my family that's here with me tonight. My wife Ann, my stepson Braden, who had previously run track and cross country here, Sammy, Lauren, Hannah, and 3 who weren't able to make it with us today. Thanks for supporting me through all my playing, coaching careers. I know you guys are very selfless, putting my stuff before a lot of yours, so thanks for that. Thanks also to my high school coach, Jeremy Tossenson. is here with me tonight. He's been a special coach, mentor in my life, helped kind of mold me into the player I was and the individual that I've become. So thanks for everything you've done, Coach T. And last, thanks to all our teammates for our time together. Obviously, as Coach Anderson alluded to, there's not a lot of flashy stats as an offensive lineman. So I don't view this as an individual honor. Obviously, with the 05 team being here with me, I wouldn't be here without you guys. So thanks. Just a little story here. When I was a junior in high school, I really had no thoughts of playing anything athletic or collegiately. Didn't view myself as that type of player. As we got started in my senior year, we ended up having a good, better team in Millbank and started getting some calls and some offers rolling in. Came down in the end to two different schools, both with ties to Millbank. One of them was Kalen DeBoer, who was at USF at the time, now coaches at University of Washington. And the other was Coach McCulloch here at VCSU. I was a defensive player at heart, loved playing that side of the football. Coach DeBoer was recruiting me to redshirt, which I wasn't really fond of, and to play offensive line. Coach McCulloch and Coach Horner were selling me pretty hard on being defensive player. So finally made the tough decision of coming to Valley City and playing on that side of the ball. When I got to Valley City, we had our first team meeting and broke out in individual groups. Coach Horner was telling us how he owned us, and our mommies aren't going to come here to bail us out anymore. Both Horner and Mac proceeded to ask me to stay after the meeting and wanted to get my thoughts about moving to the offensive side of the ball. And I, in my head, thought, well, then I just would have went to USF. But I basically nodded my head in agreement with their plan and went to the next practice the next day on the wrong side of the ball. As it turns out, that was probably the best thing for me, as I wouldn't have been standing up here today, because Joe Marsh would have been stealing all of my tackles and sacks, because he is obviously way better than I would have ever been. So, in telling this story, through the recruiting process, my visit talking to coaches here, this place just, it felt like home. Felt like family. That relationship, feelings were cultivated by Coach Mack and other coaches, Hill, Anderson, Horner, Roop. Genuine feel of Viking pride that lives through today. Many moments that you can look back on in your career. Starting my first varsity game as a freshman. Our kicker, Jay Dukes, who, as many know, wasn't a normal kicker. He was the first one down after he kicked the ball, and he hit a kid so hard in Black Hills State that he put a dent in his helmet. The kid got up, was cross-eyed, and started running off to our sideline. Getting our butts kicked by Azusa Pacific in California, but the best part of that was attending the USC game afterwards, and Chad Leak and I sneaking into the student section. But then coming back and playing them in the Fargo Dome the next year, and having them on the ropes, but ended up losing by 3 and kind of dashed our playoff hopes for the 05 team. Also in 05, Ray Kaler catching the game-winning touchdown with about 1:30 left to beat Jamestown, give us the 50th win in the series, and Coach Mack his 50th win at Valley City. All these things were great. We'll remember those, but the thing to remember most is the teammates that played with, the times we had just not on the football field, but also off of it and on campus also. Playing with one of my best friends in high school, Justin Folk, other teammates who became just as good friends off the field and lifelong friends at that. Guys like Steve Battle, Josh Kozlowski, Chad Leak, Tricky, Travis Anderson, Ray Kaler, and in the trenches with some great teammates such as Tony and Andy Hart, Bryce Kilmer, Barrett Shapansky, Jonathan Matos, just to name a few. These guys were not only good on the field, but great off it as well. And we played with the pride with the name on the front of our jerseys, just like Mac, Horner, Hill, Anderson group that instilled in us. And wrapping this up, those values were taught to me here at this university. I try to teach those same things to my kids at home. That these coaches taught me here about 20 years ago. The value shines bright here with Coach Mack and Horner, still coaching at this university after 25 years. To have the longevity that these gentlemen have in one place is pretty remarkable in today's day and age. And that's because they have continued to do things the right way with integrity and passion for Viking pride. Singing the school song, tapping the Viking pride sign on the way out to games, and all those things are emblematic of what these guys stand for at this university. Also, Coach Anderson for coming back here, being part of the VCSU Foundation and doing some amazing things here after being in a previous career running a conference or something. So congratulations to you gentlemen also. Of course, they'll be here for another 30 years now with Mac being the AD, because he's not going to fire himself. So thanks again for this honor, and go Vikes.
Come on, man.
Thank you, Travis. I just want to mention a couple things. Your senior year, we appreciate the fact that you took care of two freshmen on each side of you, and you played coach more than you played player that year. And the last thing that I'll remember is that I think you had one penalty in your career. It was at Minot State, and you got called for holding, and you were really, really, really upset about it. And your tight end looked at you and said, "Lester, it's okay, I still like you." Barrett Shapansky. Our next inductee into the Hall of Fame is Mr. Joe Marsh.
Joe Marsh arrived at VCSU as an undersized defensive lineman and left as a two-time All-American, shredding offensive linemen with his speed and wreaking havoc in the backfield. A native of Glencoe, Minnesota, Marsh finished his Viking career with 23.5 sacks and a school record of 46.5 tackles for loss. From challenging teammates during stretching drills to torching offensive linemen in the game, Joe's unrelenting competitiveness elevated our team defensively. When teams could not block Joe, it helped make every player on the field better and every coach smarter. Over his final two dominant seasons, Joe tallied 20.5 sacks and 41 tackles for loss. His single-season mark of 22 tackles for loss still stands as a school record, and he is one of the few first-team All-Americans in Viking history. Joe's statistics speak for themselves, but what's not easily seen is that teams would always know where Joe was on the field. They would game plan to avoid running or throwing to his side. Against Black Hill State, we shifted our defensive line so Joe would cover one side by himself, and they still ran away from Joe. Joe had many memorable plays during his career, including the game-clinching sack in 2005 against Jamestown, which secured a 20-19 win in the 100th game of our storied rivalry.
Dropping back, Kelting, Joe Marsh, quarterback sack!
His play that season was a key reason we won the conference championship. Congratulations on your accomplishments, Joe, and welcome to the Vikings Hall of Fame.
How's that? First thing, good evening, everyone. Luke, big shout out to you for texting Kate just to let everyone know that my ears are evidently huge tonight. Just want to let everyone know Joe's got huge ears, so thank you for that. Coach Anderson, Coach Mack, President Allen, awesome job tonight. This is going to be a heck of a fun weekend. Thank you to the selection committee. I'm honored to be standing here tonight. It's going to be a heck of a fun time. Just wanted to say congrats to Megan, Heidi, Aaron, and Travis. You guys are all awesome, amazing athletes and people. Congratulations on being up here tonight. In the 2005 conference championship team, this was the best team I ever played on. Not just because we won the conference and had a good record. We had great players and personalities on that team. There were great senior leaders and some amazing underclassmen who started or contributed for us. Some significant memories that stick out from that year are beating Jamestown at Locken Field for the 100th meeting and Coach Mack's 50th win, beating Minot, beating Dakota State and Madison to win the conference, playing Azusa in the Fargo Dome. This was a great team with great people. Congrats to all the players, coaches, and staff. Second off, just want to thank you multiple people. First off, Coach Mack, thank you for simply allowing me to play football here. I'll never forget my visit in 2002 with you. I know you looked at me like, what the hell is this kid about? I remember asking you if you thought I was too small to play college football, and you just looked at me and said, you know, I think you're tall. And a week later, I signed my letter of intent, and I'm assuming you said, Christ, this kid's gonna play here. Let's give him number 59, make him sell 20 gold cards, and let's hope he pays his tuition. But in all seriousness, thank you for always treating me with respect and always making me feel like a valued team member. Your positive influence has made a world of difference, and I'm grateful for all you do for Valley City football and this university. So thank you. You're the man. Coach Horner, thanks for the opportunity to play football on your defense. When I came in as a freshman, I was 215 pounds. I'm sorry, this was my sophomore year. I weighed 215 pounds, but I actually had 10 pounds of weights in my shorts. I put 5-pound plates on each of my sides to just gain 10 pounds. And I did that at sophomore weigh-ins just to let me play the game. And without those, I wouldn't be here tonight. So that's a true statement. I don't think you would let me play at 200 pounds. On my college visit here, I saw highlight tape of the 2001 defense that you coached. Players were fast, relentless, and intimidating. It was a spectacle to watch play. It was really fun. My goal was to just get a chance to be a part of your defense. Thank you for letting me play for you. Coach Engen, I know he's not here tonight. He's in Valley City High School, but some of the players will know this. Coach Engen walks into our players meeting when he first started here, and he goes, make sure I get this right. The first thing you need to know about me is I'm a prick. I remember looking at Nate Pecoraro, and I said, who the hell hired this guy? But ultimately, again, you believed in me. You put me in positions to succeed on the field and make an impact my first year. So thanks for being our D-line coach. Coach Rook, thanks for never giving up on me as a linebacker my freshman year. I know I sucked. I was 181 pounds as a freshman. I played 2 years of high school football. And you never lost hope. You kept giving me the opportunity to try. Thank you for all you do for Viking football. You're the true definition of a Viking. Coach Anderson, thank you for being an awesome coach and a real offensive brainiac. Good job up here tonight. You did a good job at this. Some of you offensive guys are going to understand this, but I always admired Coach Anderson's kind of quiet confidence with coaching, but also there's times where he would just fly off the handle at practice. And I love you, but I'm just going to do a couple things. Stand around looking around just a little bit. God damn it! Or run it again! Or I remember this vividly one time. Kurt Zebarth was running back, and I came off the edge and I hit him at like a 5-yard loss. And I looked at Coach Anderson and I'm like, you better block the defensive end on that play. He's like, no, I don't! Hilarious. Damn it! I love you, you're the man. But in all seriousness, for all the coaches, I really miss this game. I miss competing, preparing, and being with all of our teammates. I know all you coaches put in a ton of work for this game and this program. It's a hard game to play, and I know you put in tons of hours. I don't know how you do it. It's insane. I still wish I had eligibility to play football for all of you, but unfortunately I don't. But you can always have access to my bank account and an oarsman. I apologize to Tip and the kids for that. it's going to impact us financially in the future. To all the VCSU football former and current players, in 2002 I was a freshman. The previous year's team was coming off a conference championship and a trip to the playoffs. Steve Battle, who everyone knows in this room, was a senior who was getting tons of attention from the NFL. Every single week there were NFL scouts at our practices watching people play. It was intimidating as a freshman. Having those scouts there elevated everyone's play, coaching, energy, and effort, and ultimately taught freshmen how to play Viking football. That group from 2001, 2002 didn't really have I would say, a player to mentor mentality. You're kind of on your own. There were some bad defensive players and some bad offensive players on that team. When I mean bad, they were badass dudes. They're tough. So there wasn't much mentoring. You got on the field, you lined up and competed. It was an honor to watch and play guys like play with guys like Josh Kosowski, John Klinke, Josh Kramlich, Paul Maley, John Matos, Andy and Tony Hart, Travis Lester, Chauncey Calhoun, Anthony Joaquin, John Matos, and many others. A special shout out to alumni like John Olstead and Joe Peterson. I don't see those guys here. But they helped make the Azusa trip happen, and that, like Travis mentioned, the results weren't very good. That was the worst. That was probably the worst thing I ever encountered physically in a football field. But a good trip. We got to watch Reggie Bush play against USC in Arizona. That was cool. What other things that the alumni did? Unforgettable memories like filling up the paint bucket with Powerade after Jamestown games, which was cool. So that was fun. Quick question, Coach Mac. Can we have that tonight? Can we have it just for tonight? Okay. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the dance floor. Valley City State University. This place has opened so many doors and created so many relationships that have impacted my life and many others. Besides the opportunity to play football, I received an excellent education, met some amazing lifelong friends, and through Valley City alumni Brad Suffolcool and Nicole McDaniel, I met my wife, Tiffany. I have 3 beautiful kids and a fantastic life and family. To my mom and dad, thanks for having 3 sons. I'm sure the act of creating us was a ton of fun. Probably short, Dad. But I assume raising 3 boys was a big challenge. Thanks for all the support through college. To Luke and Chip, my brother Luke was a Moorhead Dragon. Chip was a Viking, which is cool. Cool to have 2 brothers who played college football within an hour of me. I love you guys. Love you, Mom and Dad. To my wife, Tiffany, Kate, and Kendall, thanks for all the support through college and being cool with all the Oarsman donations we make every month. Appreciate that. For everyone here today, thank you so much for being here and being part of the weekend. I stand here today filled with gratitude and a deep sense of pride. Valley City football has shaped who I am as a person today. I still get excited and happy about the wins, and the losses still suck, and I feel them 17 years later. I can now only live sports through coaching my son and daughter and watching my kids play their activities. I'm honored and privileged to be up here today. Thank you all for the weekend. Go Vikes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to assure you that I would never use that type of language.
Pretty soft.
Joe, I want to just share with you something that Coach Mack wrote about you, and he said, not to make anybody else feel bad, but he said you'd be a member of the All-MAC team, which is pretty impressive. And what he said about you is that I don't think I ever saw Joe have a bad day and bring others down. His personality was infectious, and I know that he probably got on the nerves of a lot of the offensive guys and coaches. But he was the ultimate team player. And when I would talk to the team after practice and let them know that it wasn't a very good practice that we had, Joe would be the first person there to ask me why, that we had a bad day and what he could do to fix it. And I just thought that was really important to share with you. So no one that would ever say that in language in practice would ever share that with me. Our last inductee this evening is a 2005 championship football team.
Pay attention to your
I sent a yearbook to each of the players on an email thread this week, just to jog your memories of the few things that happened that particular year, but I wanted to share something from that memorable season. Joe had already alluded to the fact that he added plates to his pockets every time we had weigh-in. That was actually truthful. I want to talk about teammates convincing John Jacob that he was moving to the offensive line, and enlisting Coach Horner in the fact that he took him out before practice to work on offensive line technique and snapping the football and things like that. To players anonymously calling into the Coach Mack show and asking him if there's any truth to the rumor that Barrett Shapansky would be moved to the interior offensive line from tight end. To having B.J. Ingram and Chad Leak, two of the oldest known college football players, on the same team. To Kennard Walker maybe being the worst golfer I've ever seen. When we had senior golf day, I don't even know that you can call that golfing. I mean, that's amazing. That season we had 8 offensive players score touchdowns. We had 8 defensive players score touchdowns that year, which is amazing. And in one game, all 4 touchdowns were scored by defensive players. Who was the offensive coordinator that day? All 4 touchdowns were scored by defensive players. Granted, 2 of them were Chauncey Calhoun because we took him to the offensive side. But that year, we had touchdowns on defense from Weber, Wheeland, Jenkins. Man, Jenkins, I want to see him do that over again. He thinks that touchdown against Mayville State, we're going to replicate that in the parking lot because that was something to behold. Pecoraro, Payne, Rogers, and Marsh all had touchdowns. Barrett Shapansky, the one-handed catch and the fact that Mayville somehow could never see where you were on the field. How could they miss you, but you were wide open all the time? Chad Leak, as a quarterback, obviously an outstanding year, but what Coach Mack and I were talking about is that at Black Hills State, when we were in a tight game and someplace we shouldn't have won, and they punted the ball and we got it at the 1-yard line and we dang near got back-to-back safeties on us. So it's 3rd down coming out of our own end zone, and we called our best offensive play that year, which was quick kick. On 3rd down, and you kicked it 72 yards, we flipped the field and we end up upsetting Black Hills State. To Larry Aldridge, you guys remember who Larry Aldridge is? He was running back at Dickinson State that somehow transferred from Huron, led the conference in everything, and was somehow eligible, although he was ineligible at Huron, so I don't know how that happened. To winning the 25th conference title, and to nearly avenging a 60-point loss from the year before against Azusa Pacific, when we were devastated by injuries, and we had 4 players that played both ways that day. I'll never forget a wide receiver who had never played defense, and Coach Mack saying, Rochanel, you're going to come in on 3rd down and you're just going to cover this guy. Greg Innocent, you're going to come in and be man-to-man on the tight end. And Chauncey, you're going to go both ways. And we scared a really good football team that day. With that, I would like to present for induction into the Hall of Fame the 2005 Viking football team.
The 2005 Viking football team went 6-1 in conference play as we claimed a share of the Dakota Athletic Conference title and etched our names into Viking history. Entering that season, not many people outside our team expected us to compete for a conference title, but that group of guys in the locker room believed and proved everyone else wrong. This group was not afraid of hard work, and they were rewarded for their efforts. The amount of setbacks and injuries we faced would have shrunk most teams, but our guys battled through it for the 25th conference title in program history. We started the season with 3 tight wins by a combined 13 points. That included the memorable 20-19 win over Jamestown in the 100th meeting of that rivalry.
Kelting in the backfield, Eric Dirk. The Vikings with a ton of men deep. Dropping back, Kelting. Joe Marsh, quarterback sack! back at the 5, 2, 1. Game over. The paint bucket is ours. The paint bucket is ours.
Our only conference loss of the season came the next week at Dickinson State, but we bounced back quickly with back-to-back shutouts, 49-0, 44-0 against Mayville and South Dakota Tech. We secured the conference title by defeating Dakota State on the road 29-21. We were ranked as high as 15th in the nation that season, ending with a loss to number 10 Azusa Pacific in the Fargo Dome. Our defense forced a school record 38 turnovers as we led the entire NAIA with a plus 2.1 in turnover margin. We were also 6th in the nation in points allowed, giving up just 14 points per game. For me, the 2005 team will always be remembered for their grit and determination in battling their way to a conference title. Congratulations, guys. Welcome to the Vikings Hall of Fame.
At this time, representing the 2005 team is Chad Leak. Following Chad's acceptance for the team, we would like each of the team members to please come to the stage. We will just have you briefly introduce yourself and where you are, and go from there. I sent you the email, you know what to do.
Yeah, but they didn't read that, man. When you go to college for 6 years like I did, you have the opportunity to take a whole bunch of speech classes, but like all of you, I chickened out before that first speech and dropped it. So everything I learned to do about speaking came from CA over there after 6 years. First, a shout out. Travis Lesser, Joe Marsh, man, you guys are amazing. From their speeches, that tells you everything you need to know about them and this team. Not once during their speeches did you hear anything about themselves. All about this team. Man, you guys led us. You took us to where we are now. We wouldn't be here without you, but congratulations, guys. As some of you know, many of you know me, I broke my collarbone my first senior year, and it was coming time to actually make a decision on if I should come back for another year or not. And I actually remember sitting in Dr. Lallam's class, and yes, I actually went to class every once in a while, Mac. And I'm sitting with Jeremy Payne, and he says, and I remember it to this day, he says, eventually you may regret not coming back, but you won't regret it if you do. And man, was he right. I don't know. I think it's really natural to look back at all the teams that went to VCSU, and there's been so very many great ones, and you want to rank where you are, right? And I think it's really natural to do that. I don't know where the 05 team ranked, but I do know this. There is no way there was a team that went to this university that was closer than this group that's here tonight. And when we get up here and you will see where everybody came in from tonight, how far they came, how many are back, you will know what I mean. I've been lucky to be part of a couple of these CA, and this crowd is not the norm. Man, thank you all for taking time to come back. It means the world to all of us. You've heard a few references because of that camaraderie, and maybe only because of that. The resiliency that this team showed will always be something that stood out to me. All too often in this world, we live in a cliche-filled world, right? And I just remember Coach Mack always instilling in us, respond to adversity, and how you respond to adversity over and over again. And believe it, that you even started that before Paul went down in camp that year. And it just felt like, I don't know if there's a record for numbers of injuries that this team had, but if there was, we were sure flirting with it. And throughout the season, it felt like guy after guy would go down, game after game. But yet, waiting in the wings was the next man up, whether they were a freshman, like BJ and I, a 35-year-old senior. The next man up, it didn't matter, and they were ready to go. By the end of the season, man, we were fighting. I can only imagine the coach's room fighting over which side of the ball Chauncey was going to play that game. I can only imagine the arm wrestling that went on. And then the compromise was he's just going to play the whole doggone game. I look at this room, I look at myself, and no other life lesson resonates more, Mac, than how you respond to adversity
is how people will think of you, how you will go on and show the way. Thank you for that, because look at this room. Man, this hasn't been easy. 20 years later though, like Joe said, this is gonna be a fun weekend. Thank you to our coaches for putting up with us. God, it could not have been easy. Thank you to our families looking around, seeing all of you. I don't think the moms, dads, I don't think you know how much of a part of the team you were, but seeing all of you tonight shaking your hands, that's been great. Thank you to VCSU for providing me the opportunity to represent this great place. We wouldn't be back here if we didn't love it. And thank you. This group is a special group. It has had so many permanent memories in for me, and I'm incredibly thankful to be a part of. Congratulations, everyone, on a well-deserved honor.
Can I please have the team to come forward?
I feel like you have to say something you've been mentioned like 30 or 40 times.
John Jacob, we will have you start this,
Aren't you in the
please.
same class as Melee?
Is John Jacob going in the Hall of Fame on offense or defense?
Stop it.
If you just say your name and what you played, where you're from, and
I'm not
then
here
you
to
can
listen to
exit this
Michaela.
way.
If Zach says to stop, we have to stop.
Is it on?
Stop it.
They did try to change me to offense, didn't work. John Jacob, Sock Center, Minnesota.
Hey, yeah.
Defensive tackle.
From?
Sock Center, Minnesota.
Where? Valley City.
Oh, from Valley City, North Dakota. Thanks, Corey.
Travis Lester played center from Millbank, South Dakota, back there, my hometown now.
Joe Marsh, defensive end, Glencoe, Minnesota.
Silver Lake, Silver Lake. Silver Lake.
Mike Wagner, I played offensive line. I was from Beulah, North Dakota. Currently live in Ankeny, Iowa.
Paul Maley, I play strong safety from Miami, Florida.
Brett Kilmer, linebacker, Shelton, Washington.
Val Kilmer. Jesus.
Tony Jenkins, Eli, I'm currently Grafton from Clark, South Dakota.
Yeah. Look at them all. Look at them
Taylor
all. They all made
Albert,
it.
I played strong safety, originally from Thesden, North Dakota, currently in
Ben Smart, I was a cornerback. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I currently live here in Moorhead, Minnesota.
Yeah. Wow.
Billy Anderson from Nikiski, Alaska. I'm in Kenai, Alaska now, and I was a quarterback.
Quentin Q. Sterling from Killeen, Texas, currently recognized or recurring in Killeen, Texas.
Randy Yard, O-line, from Malacca, still in Malacca.
Good job, Yard.
Raymond Kaler, wide receiver from Washburn, North Dakota, and I live in Greenwood, South Carolina. Dan Reba, middle linebacker from Lakota, North Dakota, live in Whitman, North Dakota. Got to put Little Town Whitman on the map.
Chauncey Calhoun, professional, Glendale, Arizona.
Yeah. Wow.
Chris Rogers, North Pole, Alaska, and now I live in Oklahoma with my beautiful wife who's sitting right over there. Johnson Folk, wide receiver from Millbank, South Dakota. I live in Garrison, North Dakota now.
Matt Axman, running back from Crosby, North Dakota, now I live in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Travis Anderson, from North Dakota, defensive backstrom.
Bryce Kilmer, Shelton, Washington, offensive lineman. And I know the offensive statistics aren't up there, but my man Ray C down here in the line caught 2 game-winning touchdowns that year.
Dan Toohey, I'm from Chaffee, North Dakota, living up in Devil's Lake, North Dakota right now. Played D-line, back up to Joe Marsh.
Super Hill. Nate Pecoraro, Big Lake, Minnesota, currently Orlando, Florida, defensive line.
Eric Baba Spooner from Tappan, North Dakota. I currently live in West Fargo.
Brandon Albright, backup quarterback to Chad Lake from Wynwood, North Dakota.
Big dog.
Brad Elliott from Valley City, live in North Denver, kicked and punt return.
Clint Kramlich from Devils Lake, North Dakota, currently in Valley City, North Dakota, back up to Travis Lester. Brandon Brown, offensive line, Champlin, Minnesota.
Patrick Metzger, running backs coach, originally from Carrington, now in Castleton, North Dakota.
I just want to make sure I think that guy.
Adam Berger from Valley City, North Dakota, currently residing in Fargo, North Dakota, offensive line. Shapansky from Stephen, Minnesota, tight end.
There's one difference between you guys and all the Minnesota teams. All the guys
Congratulations to the two.
Oh, you guys are good.
5 teams.
Come on, Coach Mac.
All right, fellas, if we could have just one minute of your undivided attention. We've got a special honorary Hall of Fame induction tonight that's not in your program. It's a Friday put in. You know how much that I like those, as we like to call it. Our last inductee tonight never performed in an athletic contest, never coached, and never served as an administrator at VCSU. Although this inductee has had a formal association with football in the past, the inductee represents the ideals of what the VCSU student athletes and VCSU teams aspire to achieve. Our final inductee epitomizes courage to leave everything on the playing field, commitment to set and work towards a goal, collaboration to work and perform as a team, and pride from performing at the level needed to achieve those goals. This inductee symbolizes what it is to have Viking pride. This inductee doesn't say anything, yet their mere presence says everything. Our final inductee won't be able to share stories with us, but rather the memories that will be told amongst us. And our final inductee has had an iconic history with VCSU athletics since 1961 and has a special meaning to all of our teams, our campus, and our community.
Let's go, baby! There's a long history of Viking pride. It goes back decades. This is the biggest game for all the alumni throughout the country. When I say Vikings, you will say pride. Viking pride! 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 Pride!
Please help me as we give a warm, hearty welcome to our final inductee to the Hall of Fame, the Paint Bucket.
Nice job, Coach Anderson.
All right. First of all, this Nope, I'm going to run out of here with that thing. All right.
Well, think about it.
Guys, first of all, I'm Dennis McCulloch. I'm the head football coach and athletic director here at VCSU. It's my honor to be here in my 30th year. This morning,
Corey's going through some stuff with us, and he goes, yeah, hey, we decided to move you to the end, because I was like number 2 on the list to welcome everybody. I was like, big deal kind of early on, but we're going to drop you. And I was like, I said, Kim Ish must have talked to you. She goes, watching grown men cry early in a program isn't very much fun for everybody. Kind of brings down the crowd, so I think we should move Mac to the bottom, and so anyway, it's an honor to be up here and represent our athletic department. It's truly an honor. Just first of all, introduce our coaching staff. If our head coaches and our coaching staff is here, please stand, rise, and to be recognized. Our coaching staff, any of our coaches that are here, please stand. We still practicing. But our rock stars are our coaches. They do an amazing job. I know it looks like we make a lot of money because of me and how I rep my life, my lifestyle I live, and our coaches make tons of money, but they are doing this because they're passionate about what they do. They love their sports they coach, right? That's why they do it. It's been an honor. So you guys do a great job. Thank you for all you do for VCSU. Let's give them another round of applause. I want to say thank you to our president, Al LaFave. Ultimately, we've been really blessed when he came up and signed on. He has really been a positive force for VCSU. We are truly lucky in his leadership. I know I'm sucking up because he gave me the AD job and he keeps hiring me and paying me my money, but he has truly done an amazing job for VCSU. Honored to have him as our president. Let's give him a round of applause. So, for us, I know a lot of people talk about, right, the university and some of the things that are going on. There's a lot of wind blowing, right, a lot of issues. And you know what? What's funny is I've been here 30 years and there was always issues. Like I showed up here 30 years ago and they talked about they were going to take VCSU off the Constitution and possibly close the university, right? This is like my first years I show up here, right? So there's like always bad winds. There's good winds are blowing. Bad things are going to happen. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Like I've been here and we have a great university, right? It's a great place. There's awesome buildings. I love the setting. It's a beautiful place. It's been here for over 100 years. It's stable. That university's not going anywhere. But you know what makes this university? Anybody know what makes this university strong? The people, right? From the people who are here, who invest their lives into this university. Okay? The thing that I would tell you is different about this university and any other place is the people. People that do their job for something other than money, right? The number one guy I'm going to tell you about is Dave Bass, right? He's a great example of giving his life to this university. He could not, right? If he got a paycheck or not, I don't think he could care. He bought probably like $500 worth of gold cards from us, right? He is invested in truly here. But he is a great example of the type of people we have all over the university that are here because of the passion. When the winds blow, right? When the winds blow, they run into the fire. Right? They're going to go take on head on, right? Because they care more about the university than just, right, their paycheck. So, when I tell you we have a great administrator, we have a great administration who care about this university more than other things, right? When we hired Corey Anderson, he taught me Viking pride. Okay? Great hire because he cares about the history, the past, the future. Right? The things and decisions that we make. That's what's going to make us sound for lots and lots of years to come. Okay? He learned Viking pride from Jim Dew, right? His passion, what he brought him, and that passion continues on today. Okay? We are blessed with that. So like the wind stuff, all the stuff that's going on, good things are down the road for this university and this place and all of our athletic programs. And I'm excited and honored to be up here and be represented. Quickly, I just want to say congratulations Aaron, congratulations to you. Where's Aaron at? See, did Greg Horner block for you? No. Was he playing? Was he an O-lineman? Was he playing? You should have been in the Hall of Fame like 10 years or 15 years earlier. Because if he was blocking for you, he didn't have anybody blocking for you, right? But congratulations, okay? You know, Heidi and Megan, congratulations. You guys, one of the greatest things you ever did, right, was I gave you that $100 to date those guys, right? You guys don't have to pay me that back, and I hope your eyes never get better. Either one of you, right? So really appreciate it, because they probably weren't going to find dates. So I mean, that 100, like I said, you don't need to pay me that stuff back. Thank you, right? Jordan, you guys, Reagan, you guys are very lucky. Okay, Travis, Lester, BJ. We finally know there's something great came out of Millbank, South Dakota, right? Travis Lester. Hey, no, there's a great other coach, and he already mentioned him, Caleb DeBoer. We got those two great things came out of Millbank, South Dakota. So, it might be Raleigh Green, but congratulations. Joe Marsh, and you're a special young man, and all the things that I talked about with Joe, and I remember his tenacity, his work ethic, the things that he's overcome. So, I wish all these guys could stand in front of you. Every Hall of Famer, because this looks really easy, right?
110.
But everyone had to sacrifice a lot to do this. Not for money. Like we all know, like there's not a lot of money, right? There's no full ride dudes here, right? I know probably the volleyball team's all on full rides. I don't know. I'm still checking into our volleyball team. I think they're good. Like, but you know, nobody is. Like they're not here for money. They came and sacrificed and did this because of love of sport and the things they did, right? Awesome. That's amazing what they did. They have to work hard. But all the adversity they've went through in their lives, personally, right, that they had to go through, I wish they could all tell that story. Because none of them is easy. Not one was an easy story. And a lot of them have challenges in their current lives that you're trying to overcome. All those sacrifices, all that hard work, hopefully that piece shows you why they're successful, why they're doing what they're doing today. Because of that, they found a way, right, to sacrifice, make the sacrifices, work hard, and figure it out. Congratulations again to all the Hall of Famers. It was my honor coaching you guys. That 2005 team was extremely special. One of my best loss ever, right? Nobody will understand. Like if you watched the Azusa Pacific when we went out to California, we got our living butts handed to us. It was terrible, embarrassing from start play one to the last play. I told those guys I think they're going to score 100 points on us because they didn't like us for it, right? They had their starters in with like 6 minutes left in the game, and they were going to score 70, okay? The next year we should have beat them, right? They had to kick a 45-yard field in the end. This group of guys figured it out. Same group of guys. Special moment, right? This is a special football team. So thank you. It's an honor to coach you guys. Okay? The last thing I want to tell you, this is why they put me last too, because Coach Mack likes to talk. Okay? Yeah. For everybody in this room, right? When you are alumni here, we can't survive without you. The future is not like what you did is a memory. Right? What you did when you played here is a memory now. Okay, that's the past. What I'm going to tell you now is to be Viking. Okay? To continue to be Viking. And I know everybody's waiting. Well, Coach Matt's going to talk to me about donating. Right? Here's what I'm going to tell you. Right? Be Viking doesn't mean anything but be actively involved in this university and to care for the future. I want it to survive. Right? I want it to grow. I want it to continue to be successful. That takes active participation. Talking positively about the university and what your experiences were. You guys are the best advertising. When you stood up here and talked about the university and the family that it presents, that's the best advertising we can have. Travis asked Lester, right? Send his stepson here. That's that says something, right? That you're willing to send your son, right, to come to a place that you were at. You guys are the best advertising we have. Be actively involved. Give back to the university. Find ways to be involved. Okay? We need you. Okay? I know I want to coach till I'm 100 and be here, but that's probably not going to happen. But I would be extremely disappointed if we don't continue to help this place thrive. Continue to work. Okay? We carried on Coach Dew's history, legacy, continue to work to make it prideful to be a Viking. You know how it feels when you don't have that pride, right? And if we don't invest, or we don't continue to give and give back and be Viking, we can't continue strong. Okay? Thank you guys. Appreciate it. It's a true honor to represent this university. Thank you.
VCS, we're all through you. We show our great adoration for the best to win the always loyal and loyal. VCS, let's do it. VCS, hero, VCS.
My wife's not here to tell me. I told Kevin this Thursday. That was 132 right. 132 right.
All right, everybody, that's it for this evening. We really appreciate your patience tonight. The final thing I need to say is we need to have pictures.
Hold up.
We need to have pictures. We're going to start with that 2005 team. If you can just walk right back up.
Get a picture in the Viking tank.
You just walk right back up, and then we'll go with the inductees in order after that. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening.